Richard's the Director of Measurement at the Commission. He's had a role in the UK for a long time. Richard, describe your background to the crowd, because you'll do it better than other people.
Okay, well, I've been around trying to measure whether healthcare is any good for around about 20 years, I guess. I started in the NHS in the early 90s, spent some time with the King's Fund in London, looking at how waiting list dynamics work and how London's healthcare worked and things like that. Then I spent some time back in the NHS just outside of London, and then latterly for 10 years working for various iterations of regulator of health services in the UK, or in England at least. And as you may know, I mean, the last 10 years of healthcare in England has been sort of articulated, I suppose, through a measurement frenzy, a desire to sort of measure everything that moved. And through that, trying to do sensible things rather than things that are a bit daft, and hopefully do things that were led to some improvement at least. And I joined the Commission last January, been with them just now, and I think I want to talk about quality and safety markets. Shall I just get going? Is that the easiest thing to do? Okay, well, thank you for your warm welcome, which is considerably better, I think, than our batsmen have had from your bowlers this morning. 80 for 5 at lunch. So there we go. 6? 5, oh, well, there we go. Anyway, a number of things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the measuring and evaluation that the Commission does, and put quality and safety markers in that slightly broader context. Because you may well have heard of the quality and safety markers. They're actually only one of 4 things that we're doing in this broad area. And then it's curious, I don't know, Dave, if you saw my slides beforehand, but I do want to talk a little bit about this improvement accountability research paradigm, because it is kind of the unspoken elephant in the room behind all of these things. I do want to get at it. It's a very useful paradigm, but I've put in very little letters there and its discontents, because there are ways of interpreting it which I think can be a little bit unhelpful. And then there's an opportunity to talk a little bit about where to next at the end of that. So I think I've got 45 minutes, and I have a clock there which tells me when to shut up. So I'll get cracking. So in terms of what the Commission is doing, this sort of little jigsaw, which Gillian invented, I think is rather a sort of nice way of talking about the range of measurement and evaluation stuff that we're doing. So I'll just take you through each of those in turn. So the first of them are what we're calling health quality and safety indicators, and this is really, if you like, a top-level dashboard for the whole country, for the whole system, trying to articulate a range of dimensions of quality which go against this idea of the triple aim. Are you familiar with the triple aim idea? Right, the triple aim idea is actually derived from work that the IHI did, but slightly contextualized inside a New Zealand context, and talks about the quality of care that the individual experiences, the health of a population, and, if you like, the efficiency of a system, so value for money in its broadest sense of the word. And from that, we have if you go to our website, you'll see a thing a little bit like this, which is kind of a dashboard around 6 dimensions of quality, some at a sort of system level, some contributing measures, and it's designed so that you can click in and find some key indicators and then some contextualizing information around that. You'll see the word infection in orange under safety. We are keen to put some of the work we're doing here inside that particular box in time, but just working through how best to do that. So that gives us sort of sense at the national level. This doesn't talk about DHB or local data, it talks about the whole of New Zealand. And where we can, we try and compare with similar jurisdictions overseas. And this you can ping down in, you click on mortality, you'll get this lower thing, and you'll see, I think that's an age standardised amenable mortality rates coming down in New Zealand in that little thing in the bottom right-hand corner, which they've done in the last 10 years or so. So that's the HQSIs. The second of those is the Atlas, and the Atlas of Healthcare Variation is a very different kettle of fish. We sometimes talk about measurement in healthcare being around tin openers or dials, and dials being very much a judgment. The dashboard that you have tells you with some unequivocally whether things are good or bad. Tin openers are much more about opening up cans of worms. And the atlas, by concentrating on variation, is much more in that space than in that sort of dial space. It's about prompting debate and raising questions. And again, it's a web tool available on our website. We have 5 separate domains or areas that we're covering at the moment. Another 3 will come out probably middle of April. They look a little bit like this. So you have the data displayed in a geographic way. You can look at the range between different parts of the country. And we emphasize what's in the bottom left-hand corner there, or bottom right-hand corner as you see it. Commentary, talking about why does this matter, how best to interpret what you're seeing from that, what sort of questions might you ask. I think Alan Mary, our chair, puts this rather nicely in talking about it. We don't start off saying low is good, high is bad, or vice versa, or the middle is right and the extremes are wrong. But where you have a 3 or 4-fold variation, the likelihood is both ends can't be right. So that should stimulate the debate about what would be right. And we've got some interesting debates being stimulated, a good one being around use of myringotomy tubes